You planned it again. The thing they forgot. The conversation they never started. The problem you fixed before they noticed it existed. You handled it, like always, without being asked, without being thanked, without stopping to wonder why you were always the one doing this. And when it was done, you told yourself, this is just who I am. I am the one who handles things. But here's what you have never said out loud. You are exhausted. Not tired. Exhausted. The kind of exhausted that does not go away with sleep. The kind that lives behind your eyes and follows you into every room. You remember everything. The anniversary. The appointment they forgot 3 times. The thing that needed doing before it became a crisis. You book the table. You track the budget. You send the message they kept putting off for 2 weeks. You initiate every difficult conversation. You make sure everyone is okay. You put yourself last. Every time. And they let you. Not cruelly. Not on purpose. They just let you. Because you always did. And it always got done. You noticed when the balance shifted. You felt it. You kept going anyway. By the time you could name it, you were carrying almost everything. And they were carrying almost nothing at all. There's a name for what this is. Drop one word in the comments. What did you do for them last week that they never once asked for? You did not become this way because you are strong. That is the story you tell. You became this way because stopping once felt more dangerous than burning out forever. Think about where you learned this. Not in this relationship. Before it. Maybe there was a home where things fell apart if you were not paying attention. Maybe someone needed you to be okay before you were allowed to not be. Maybe love was something you had to earn by being useful, by being needed, by never, ever stopping. You did not choose this. You were shaped into it, very early, by people who should have protected you from it. And when you got into this relationship, you brought that shape with you. Every time they forgot, you remembered. Every time they dropped it, you caught it. Every time there was a gap, you filled it. You thought you were helping. You were not helping. You were covering. Helping is doing something once. Covering is doing it forever, so the other person never has to feel the gap. And every time you covered, you did 2 things at once. You kept things running. And you taught them the relationship did not need them to run it. You trained them. Not on purpose, but you did. Drop I see it in the comments if you know exactly which part of this you built. Here is what that created. A person who cannot function without you. And a version of you that cannot stop functioning. You resent them. You would never say it. But it is there, in the sigh when they forget again. In how you answer before they even ask. And when someone offers to help, you say, I have got it. Because if they do it wrong, you just have to redo it anyway. The resentment and the doing live side by side. That is the trap. This is the coverage trap. You are covering for someone's absence, and the covering is making the absence permanent. Every gap you fill is a gap they never have to face. Every problem you solve before they see it is a problem they never have to grow from. You are not in a partnership. You are in a parent-child dynamic. You built it. They stepped into it. Both of you are locked in it now. And here is the part that is hardest to say. You have something to gain from this too. If you're the one who does everything, you're also the one who cannot be left. You're too useful to lose. If you carry the mental load, no one can plan without you. No one can go anywhere without you. If you initiate every repair, you never have to wait and wonder if they will come back. The coverage trap is not just exhaustion. It is a quiet kind of control. Invisible, disguised as love. Not because you are manipulative, but because being needed is the closest thing to safe that you have ever known. And the thought of stopping, the thought of not being needed, feels like disappearing entirely. That is not a character flaw. That is a wound, a very old one. It lives in the part of you that learned, if I am not useful, I am not loved. That part of you is still running this relationship, even if you have never said that out loud. Even if you have spent years telling yourself you are just more capable, more responsible, more mature than them. You are not more capable. You're more afraid. That is different, and it matters more than you know. So here's what stopping actually looks like. Not a confrontation, not an ultimatum. One thing. You stop doing one thing they are capable of doing themselves. You let sit. You do not rescue it. They will not notice immediately. The gap will just be there. Uncomfortable. Yours to sit with. Everything and you will want to fill it. The anxiety will feel like emergency. Like the relationship is about to break. That feeling is not the truth. That feeling is the wound talking. It is not yours anymore. When they finally notice, and they will, something shifts. The balance you built begins to move. Slowly, uncomfortably, in a direction that has never been tried before in this relationship. It will feel wrong before it feels right. That is how you know it is actually working. One gap you do not fill. One problem you let them solve. One silence you do not rush to break. You were never the strong one. You were the scared one who got very good at looking strong. You planned it again, like always. This time, you stopped, and you watched what they did with the silence. And for the first time in a long time, they had to feel what you have been feeling all along. The weight of it, the gap, the silence that does not get filled unless they fill it. That is not cruelty. That is honesty. That is what a real partnership actually requires. You cannot carry both sides forever. It was never your job to. It was never love. It was survival. Put it down. Not all of it. Not today. Just one thing. Just enough to remember you have hands. And when they ask why things are different, you will not have an explanation prepared. That will be the first time in a very long time that you let a silence be their problem to solve. Because you've been holding things so tightly for so long that you forgot what it feels like to have nothing in your hands. That empty-handed feeling is not weakness. It is what rest feels like to someone who is never allowed to rest. You have mistaken exhaustion for identity for so long that stopping feels like losing yourself. But you were never the carrying. You were always the person underneath it. That person is still there. They have been waiting quietly under everything you picked up for everyone else. This is not about the other person anymore. This is about you. Not who you are when you are useful. Who you are when no one is asking anything of you at all. That is the version of you this relationship has never met. That is the version you've been hiding behind all the doing. One gap you do not fill. One silence you do not rush to break. One plan you let sit undone. That is where you begin. You spent years being the person who never let anything break. The one who caught everything before it hit the ground. Nobody asked if the catching was killing you. Nobody saw the weight of it, because you made it look effortless. That is the cruelest part. You were so good at it that nobody knew to worry about you. They assumed you were fine, because you always seemed fine, because you made fine look easy. But you were not fine. You were functional. There's a difference, and you have known the difference for a long time. Functional means you kept going. Fine means you wanted to. You kept going. That is not nothing. That took everything you had. But it is time to stop using everything you have just to keep a balance that was never balanced to begin with. You do not have to carry it all. You never did. That was never the agreement, even if it became the habit. Put one thing down, just one, and let them decide what they do with it.